There's still water. Where will my help come from? Where will my help come My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth.
Shabbat Shalom. Boker Tov, good morning. I am Rabbi Jason Levine with Rabbi Dana Benson. We're so pleased to join with you all, from those of us here inside the sanctuary, those of us joining at home, wherever we're coming from, we make up this beautiful community here at Beth Am. So we celebrate Shabbat, a day of rest, a day of joy, a day of learning, a day of growth and celebration. Quite the journey we have to get to this moment. Let's just take a chance. We've had a crazy week. We've had a crazy summer. We've had a crazy, we know we've had a crazy everything. So to be present on this Shabbat, let's just take a moment and take a deep breath. We want to be here right now. We want our phones turned off. If there's anyone who doesn't know how to turn their phone volume off, there's some young ones in this community who can show you how to do that. Whether you pray, whether you sing, whether you meditate, whether you just take the next hour and a half to just stare at the wall, this is just a chance to slow down and to be here. That's what Shabbat is all about. And we're here, wherever we are joined from. We have our prayer book for you people who choose to use it. For those of us joining from their own homes, if you go on Temple Beth Am's website, on our Shabbat page, we have a link to a flip book that takes you to this exact same prayer book, same pages, same everything. So we hope you joining us at home are able to be as present as possible during our services. And we're really grateful for your time here today. We're going to start our service this morning with a bit of gratitude, prayers for the miracles in our lives, all the amazing things that are around us every single day. Beginning on page number 80, it's an honor to welcome up Diana Brement, a leader in our community, to lead us in the Nisim B'chol Yom, our daily miracles, on page 80 and over the next few pages.
Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov to the families and the boys. The rabbis of old said we should say 100 blessings a day. We can think of this as a form of Jewish mindfulness, a way of giving thanks for what we have and appreciating the world around us. We're going to get a start here, and I hope you will find time after services. There'll be even more blessings during services, but after services, I hope you'll find time during the rest of the day to count even more of your blessings. Please join me in chanting. We'll begin each blessing in Hebrew and finish in either English or Hebrew. If you haven't done this before, I think you'll pick it up pretty quickly. At the end, we'll conclude with a personal blessing of our own. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanotein layayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me to be free. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael, or your identity of choice. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara. And now take a second to think of a personal blessing for you, and we'll start again in the Hebrew and finish with your own words or thoughts. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given me family.
Kol hakavod. Thank you, Diana. We now continue on page 108, Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, which brings us united on this beautiful Saturday morning. If it is your tradition and you're able to do so, we welcome you to arise for Baruch Hu, page 108, as we all face east towards the country Israel and the city Jerusalem.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
For those who choose to stand, please be seated. We continue with Yotzer Or on page 110, and it is an honor to invite up Aaron Haley, who is becoming bar mitzvah this morning, to lead us in prayer. Page 110. We'll continue over the next few pages.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Ha'me'ir la'aretz v'ladarim alea barachamim. Uv tuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam bechochma asita. Ma'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu. Al shavach ma'aseh yadecha Ve'al me'orei or she'asita, Yefarucha Selah. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, V'nizkei kulanu me'era le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot.
Page 112.
Ava Rabba Avtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola Vitera, Chamat Aleinu, Ba'avur Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu, Shabbat Chuvecha, Avotenu Ve'imotenu, Vatelem Denchu Kechayim, Kentechonenu Lamdenu, Hamrachem, Rachem Aleinu. Veten belibenu lehavinu haskil, lishmor yilmodu lelamed, lishmor velasot, ulekayem et kol divrei Talmud Torah techa ve'ahava. Ve'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, ve'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, ve'yached levavenu, yira et shemecha, ve'lo nevosh, ve'lo nikalem, ve'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed, Hashem kodecha hagadol v'hanora b'tachnu, nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha. Ve'havienu l'shalom, me'arba kanfot haaretz, ve'tolihenu komemiut le'artzenu, ki el poel Yeshuotata, Uvanu bacharta, v'kerav tanu l'shimcha gadol, Sela be'emet, lehodot lecha, u'yachedcha be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'pocherim ve'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
On page 114, if it is your tradition or preference to do so, we rise for Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Shem kevod, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
If you are standing, please be seated. We welcome Aaron to lead us in Ve'ahavta, which can be found on page 116.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל נפשך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohim Emet. Yasher koach. Well done, sir. Page 122, Micha Mocha, our prayer for freedom in this Beth Am's tradition to not just sing, but to dance, to express our full body in song and in joy. While we're not ready to dance around the sanctuary just yet, we do encourage you to dance in your own seats and to just enjoy the moment as it is. So page 122, let's sing and be joyful with the words of Micha Mocha. You can clap along too.
לשמך ושפתיים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. די די די, די די I was just so excited. The Spirit was so strong with all of us.
We'll just call it, whatever. That's fine.
Some good ruach.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. And the prayer ends. Okay. Well, thankfully. We continue with the next section of our service, the Amidah, our standing prayer. And for those who are able and choose to do so, we welcome you to rise. We also welcome Adam Grable, who becomes Bar Mitzvah in our community this morning, to lead us in prayer. We begin on page 124.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rab Hoshiach, Morid Hatal. Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Verofech Olim. Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal Chayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol.
Page 130, we continue with a Kiddushat.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with Kiddushat Hayom on page 134.
Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Ritzei v'Imnuchatenu, קדשנו במצוותיך, ותן חלקנו בתורתך. סבנו מטובך, ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעובדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך, ואנוכו בישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Well, vote. Well done, Adam. Very nice. We take time. We take time over the next few pages for our own personal prayer. If you choose to use the words in the book, we read through page 142, or just take this time to let your own personal connection with God occur. Whenever you completed your prayers, you're welcome to be seated. We continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, page 242. It's an honor to welcome up Julie Liss, representing our community, to first welcome us to the Torah service and to speak about, to offer a reading as the Torah, as the community is part of this whole service, passing Torah down from generation to generation and enjoying the words of our tradition. And you brought your own reading there. Oh.
We thank God for the gift of Torah and for the wondrous opportunity to share it with a new generation. Today, you ensure the continuation of the legacy of Moses, who first taught Torah to our people. As our community prepares to hand the Torah to you now, it is our hope that just as you will carry it in your hands today, you will carry it within your hearts always, as a perpetual expression of faith in God and commitment to your people.
Thank you, Julie. I'd like to invite the parents and the grandparents of our B'nai Mitzvah to come up to the bima as we pass the Torah down from generation to generation.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
For those able to do so, please rise. We invite Adam and Aaron to face the community as together we join in the words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
I want to thank the grandparents for their help and the parents for helping us pass down this tradition, which dates back to Moses itself as we pass the Torah down, our values from one generation to the next. We invite you to return to your seats. We're honored to invite up John Weinstein and Sarah Jensen, family friends, to help undress our Torahs this morning.
Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod ki vo v'shamayim u'va'aretz ki chol v'shamayim u'va'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'amit naseh lechol erosh Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים. על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די די יאי די די יאי די. I invite you all every week. That was great.
Thank you, John and Sarah. Before we read from the Torah, with the opportunity to learn more deeply about its meaning and its purpose. So first, it's an honor to invite Adam to offer a Devar Torah, a teaching of Torah. And when he concludes, for those of you online, we can add the words of Yasher Koach HaKol HaKavod to our chat, or we can say them here in person to say congratulations for a job well done, as I know it will be. It's now our honor to learn about the Torah from Mr. Adam Grabo.
Every once in a while, things can get challenging. Maybe you're nervous about something. Maybe someone's just getting on your nerves. In the first parsha of Devarim, also called Devarim, remember back to a time when things weren't going as everyone, specifically God, could have hoped. These challenges were dealt with in an interesting manner, to say the least. It's the 11th month of the 40th year, just a few more weeks until the Israelites finally get to go into the promised land of Canaan. As they're preparing, they give a brief recap of the story of the 12 spies. One person from each tribe was selected to be sent out and explore the promised land for 40 days and 40 nights. They went in and saw that the land was great, but the cities were huge and the people were tall. When the spies returned, Joshua and Caleb weren't particularly worried about these potential foes' heights or infrastructure, but the other 10 spies were skeptical because the inhabitants would likely overpower the Israelites. It was at this moment that God said, "With me on the team, we can do anything," and threw the entire generation, excepting Caleb and Joshua, into the desert for the next 40 years. Why would God do something like this? God doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to honesty, like when God continuously hardened the Pharaoh's heart, but it still doesn't excuse the behavior. This tale is, in all likelihood, a metaphor for when we're afraid of something, and what happens to us when we are. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said that faith isn't the courage to take risks. If the spies had faith in God, they'd have the courage to go into the promised land and take over. Instead, God got mad when they didn't have the courage/faith, and most of the Jews got put in a desert. For the people, the fear is not trust in God. For me, it could be social interaction. Talking to people is challenging sometimes. It can get us great things, new friends, amazing stories, helpful insights about situations we'll never be in. These benefits are in concept, not unlike the things that the Israelites would have gotten if they went into the promised land. A stable home, milk, having made good on a promise that was made to Abraham almost 1,000 years earlier. On the other hand, in order to talk to people, we have to open our mouths and produce enough sound that the other members in the conversation can comprehend our thoughts. It's times like these where I, at least, want to run back to Egypt where there's fruit and housing, even though being a slave is not the greatest of experiences. The Israelites weren't too dissimilar. They got scared, they wanted to go back to Egypt. God did not want the people to go back to Egypt and took action. The action probably wasn't the best thing that God could have done, but it's too late now. A medieval commentator Rashi stated that after everything God had done for the people, they should know that God can make good on promises. While it may be nice to hear, when dealing with the issues in our own lives, we can't always be so sure. Maybe we're trying something new. Maybe we've just had a rough day. Whatever it may be, just believe in whatever you're doing and go for it. We can't get anywhere without courage, and this story just drives that message home. After hearing this, I hope we can find that thing that we're only 1/6 sure about and conquer it in glorious combat, not unlike what the Israelites ended up doing years later in the land of Canaan. Think about all the positives that can come of our doing, all the great things that can come from it. New land for farming, new people for conversing with, and many other great things. Thinking about the negatives can be important too. We have to make sure that we don't focus on them for too long. make sure that we look for ways to overcome these challenges and go forward with our goals. From this, I hope we can take the lessons from this week's Parsha, or really 7 weeks ago's Parsha, and build up the courage to go do whatever it is we've been putting off for the last 39.9266 years.
Well done, Adam. Grab a seat for just a quick second as we organize and prepare for our Torah reading. If you'd like to join and follow the Torah, read along the Torah with us, there are some books in the seats in front of you. For those who choose to follow along, for those of you joining online, there are instructions on our website of how to get to a website, how to get to another website, get to Sefaria, a Jewish library, that will help guide you to follow along as well. There we go. You're on page 1318 if you have a book in front of you, page 1318. Our first Torah reader will be Adam Grable. Adam will be reading Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 34 through 44. Nope. 23 through 33. Thank you. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 23 through 33, beginning with verses 23 through 28. And it's an honor to welcome up to the Bima for the first Aliyah, Adam's grandfather Harris, his brother Ian, and his uncle TJ.
יעמדו צבי בן סוניה ושרה, חיים בן חנה, ואברהם יונתן בן צבי וחנה, לעלייה ראשונה.
On the right side there, gentlemen. Make sure you find your place. Excellent. Ian, would you mind holding open? Ian, let's turn the microphone on. Hold on, let me get myself set up. Yeah, Ian, hold that open for us. We're gonna organize. So Adam's gonna point to the first word. Ian, will you take your talis, or all of you gentlemen, if you so choose, reach in and tap the first word and give it a kiss. And the blessing, whenever you three are ready.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayitav be'enai hadavar. Vayikach mikem shenem asar anashim. Ish echad lashavet. Vayifnu vayalu hara. Vayavohu ad nachal eshkol. Vayiraglu otah. Vayichu v'yadam mipri haaretz. Vayoridu elenu. Vayashivu otanu davar. Vayomru tova haaretz. Asher Adonai Eloheinu noten lanu. V'lo avitem lailot. V'tamruhu et pi Adonai Elohechem. V'teragnu beholechem. V'tomru. B'sinat Adonai otanu. Hotianu me'eretz Mitzrayim. Latetotanu b'yad ha'emori lahashmidenu. Anachnu olim. Achenu hemsu et levaveinu lemor. Am gadol v'avram mimenu. Arim gadolotu b'sorod b'shamayim. V'gam b'nei anakim ra'inu sham.
Talis, gentlemen, kiss the last word. Blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ian, you can let go there. Okay. Stand right over here. We continue with, again, Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 29 through 33, which can be read on page 1319 if you're reading from the physical book. It's an honor to call up Adam himself to bless Torah as he becomes Bar Mitzvah. I'd like to invite his parents to come join him.
Hakol havugo del Eloheinu tnu kavod leTorah. Ya'amod habar mitzvah. Shalom Adam Aharon ben Chaya le'aliyah shniya.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayomar lechem lo tartsun v'lo tir'un mehem. Adonai Elohechem haholech lifnechem yolachem lachem kechol asher asatchem v'mitzrayim leinechem uvamidbar asher ra'ita asher nesacha Adonai Elohecha k'asher yisa ish et beno b'chol haderech asher halechtem ad boachem ad hamakom hazeh uvadavar hazeh Einchem aminim b'Adonai Elohechem Haolech lifnechem b'derech Lator lachem makom l'chatechem Ba'esh laila La'rotechem b'derech asher techuva Uve'anan yomam
Shakor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Truly superb reading, Adam. Jules, we go stand next to Jessica. Jessica, can you bring the mic a little bit closer to you? As we keep the Torah open in front of us for a few moments longer, Torah, the symbol of the spiritual strength of our community, we add to the sacred moments as Adam's going to be offered a blessing from his parents. Into the microphone, please.
Dear Adam, do you want to know something? Way back in 2013, I wrote an email to teacher Michelle from the J, in which I was telling her how you started every sentence with this question, do you want to know something? You also ended every sentence with this question, and sometimes it appeared in the middle of a thought. From your earliest days, you have been a boy who wants to be known, and one who wants to share your unique self with the world. From dinosaurs to football to speed solving a Rubik's Cube, you have always been one to dive into your passions unafraid. It's so easy, as you get older, to put those things aside, to believe it's easier or safer to blend into the crowd. My wish for you is that you always remain true to yourself, that you allow your confidence and your intelligence and your one true spirit to guide you to the person you're meant to be. And should you ever wonder if you're on the right path, think back to every person sitting here today, here to support you, to guide you, and to love you every step of the way.
So now we are all a family of adults. I'm going to miss being able to tell you what to do. Brush your hair. Don't put your hand in that. Have a fun day. Now, I guess I can only give you advice when you ask for it. So I hope you find any of this helpful, or at least if it's not helpful, I hope you at least find it brief. Adam, I admire your clever wit, the ways in which you are unapologetically yourself at all times, and how you consistently act on the things you believe, even when it takes a lot of extra work. I think those qualities are all the blessing that you need. Every time in my own life I have moved toward cleverness or authenticity or principle, I have been better for it. I wish when I were your age I had been as good at those things as you are. Stick with them, and they will serve you well.
Beautiful. You all can be seated. Thank you all so very much. You can be seated as well, Adam. Now, in the midst of our Torah service, we take time for a prayer for healing. Healing for all those in our community who struggle, all those who ache, all those who are fighting this pandemic, and showing gratitude to all those who are helping during this pandemic. You think of all those who struggle on a daily basis based on the color of their skin, whom they love, where they're from, or how they pray. We add now, whether it's in the chat online or we add out loud together, the names of loved ones we're thinking of who are ill. We should add to this prayer for healing. We pray that God might watch over us all to heal us now.
Rifa'enu Adonai v'nerafeh Hoshienu v'nivashea El karov lechol korav Hach karov lireav isho We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and life and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. El Narfanala. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, urefuat ha-guf, refuat shleima. Heal us now, heal us now, heal us now, heal us now, heal us now.
Amen. Thank you. It's an honor to invite up Aaron as our next Torah reader. We invite up Debbie Maserano to be our gabbai for Aaron. Aaron will be reading in full Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 34 through 44, beginning with verses 34 through 38. Once you find your spots, should be roughly there. It's an honor to invite up to the bima for the Aliyah Aaron's brother Jordan.
יעמוד לב בין אהבה לעלייה שלישית.
Jordan, take the tallest, kiss the first word.
Baruch atah Adonai haborach.
Baruch et Adonai.
Baruch et Adonai haborach.
Baruch Adonai hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai haborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayishma Adonai et kol divrichem, vayiktov, vayishuva lemor. Im yir'eh ish b'anashim ha'ele, hador hara hazeh, et ha'aretz ha'tova, asher nishbati, latet lavotechem. Zulati, Kalev ben Yefuneh, hu yir'ena, v'lo eten et ha'aretz, asher darach ba u'le'anav, Yan asher milei acharei Adonai Gam beat anaf Adonai, bigalchem lemor, gam ata lo tavo sham. Yehoshua bin Nun haomed lefanecha, hu yavo shama, belahem et nena vehem. Otoch chazek ki hu yanchilena et Yisrael.
Ashakor. Jordan, take your talis. Take this last word.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Stay right here. We continue with verses 39 through 44 on page 1320. If you're reading out of the book as well, or the verses 39 through 44 if you're reading online. It's an honor to call up Aaron himself to bless Torah as he becomes bar mitzvah. I'd like to invite his parents to come join him.
Hakol havu godel Eloheinu tnu kavod leTorah. Ya'amod habar mitzvah simcha ben ahava le'aliyah revi'i.
Aaron, take your talis. Guess the first word. And the blessing.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. V'tapchem asher amartem lavaz yeh ufnechem asher lo yad'u hayom tov v'ra hema yavo shama v'lahem et nena v'hem yirashua v'aten penu lachem usu hamidbarat derech yam suf v'tanu v'tamru elai Chatanu, Ladonai, Anachnu na'alev v'nilchamnu, kecho asher tivanu Adonai Eloheinu, v'tachgeru, ish et kalehem yilchamtu, v'tahinu v'talo tahara, v'yomer Adonai, Eli emor lahem lo talu v'lo tilachamu ki eineni b'kirbehem v'lo tinagfu lifnei oivehem v'adaber aleichem v'lo shematem v'tamru et pi Adonai v'tazidu v'talo tahara v'yetze ha'emori hayashev bahar hahu likratchem v'yirdefu etchem Kasher ta'asinai hadbarim vayiktu etchem b'she'ir ad horma.
Ashakor. Take your talis. Guess what we did it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Debbie, so very much. The Torah remains open for a moment. The Torah, the symbol of the spiritual joy and the connection within our community. We add to the spiritual and sacred moment that we're in as Aaron's going to face his parents. They're going to offer a blessing they wrote for just a special occasion. Rachel, can you turn the microphone on?
Aaron, you made it. It has been a strange year, and here we are, finally, standing in a room of people who want the best for you. Your Hebrew name is Simcha, joyfulness. We have seen how you throw your heart into skiing, playing the entirety of the Bohemian Rhapsody on the piano, teaching your classmates what it would take to start a moon colony, learning all, yes, all, the backstories of the Marvel Universe, arguing for better criminal justice. You bring joy to what you do and bring us joy watching you. You have always been a person who grabs life with both hands. You were an achiever, You love to learn. You love the feeling of mastery. You have the natural gift of being in touch with your own emotions, and we so appreciate when you share your joy and your frustrations, almost always, with us.
At this awesome moment, we want to say how much we admire you and look forward to what the future brings. Our wishes for you are first, that you should have compassion for yourself. Hold yourself to high standards while loving the person that you already are. Second, wherever you find yourself, use the talent you have with words. Writing and speaking are powerful in every profession. Use them as your grandpa Steve did, to persuade, illuminate, celebrate, and share. We're so proud of you, and we love you very much.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you. You all can grab your seats. Oh, go take a second. We'll take a moment and allow Aaron to see through his eyes once again. Just rearranging. As we just read these beautiful words of Torah so wonderfully from these two young leaders, we get you get? Okay.
All the feels.
We get the chance to learn more deeply about its inner teachings as we invite up Aaron to offer a Devar Torah, a teaching of Torah.
I'm going to do it while crying, too. Life is very complex. There's very little that can't be thought about for a long time before making a good decision. In this week's Torah portion, Devarim, there is one decision in particular that strikes me as cruel, detrimental to the Jewish people, and was also made very quickly. The portion begins with the book of Deuteronomy, which is a recap of stories we've heard in the past, but they're still relevant. So, Moses recounts to the Jewish people the story of what happened the first time they laid eyes on the land of Israel. Basically, 12 spies go into the land of Israel, one from each tribe, and when they come out, all but one, or kind of two, are frightened and think it looks like a perilous place. God is irritated that the people seem ungrateful at the promise of Israel, so God, rather than letting them proceed, sends them into the desert, where they walk for 40 years in a harsh and cruel environment. An entire generation of people dies before they return to Israel. To me, that sounds like a decision that God had made very quickly without considering the perspective of the Jewish people. And God's decision sure caused a whole lot of pain. I think it is worth noting that God did what God did for a good, solid reason. God believed that it would help the Jewish people if this Dor Hara, evil generation, was not part of the group that entered Israel. God clearly had a particular expectation God clearly had a particular expectation of the Jewish people based on God's own values. God expected them to be grateful of the land they received and trusting that God would do the rest. But, according to Rabbi David Teutsch, VBDM, which stands for Values-Based Decision-Making, takes for granted that good decisions reflect consideration of the context in which they are made. I think that what God did in the long run might have been correct. However, the circumstances in which God made it, as well as the punishments for the Israelites' mistakes, were most definitely not. These kinds of mistakes, hastily made decisions, are incredibly common and can really mess with someone quite a bit. Making a decision on values alone can be good, or it can just be completely disregarding any evidence contrary to your own opinion. One of the places where this is common in our modern world is criminal law. Almost no one in that field is there with the sole purpose of causing harm. However, due to regarding only their own values, and perhaps a little, dare I say it, spinelessness, Their own bias can inflict on said values and can make their decision crueler than it should be, or even incorrect. It's really important that we do our best to pay attention when we are making these kinds of decisions. As humans, we need connection, and these kinds of little mistakes can tear us apart, or put us in jail, or wandering around in the desert for 40 years. I pray that we can all try and fix these little mistakes, and maybe make the world a little bit nicer in the process.
We continue in our prayer books once again. On page 252, we'll go from 252 and then we'll jump to 256. I'd like to invite a number of people up to the bema, so give me a moment. I'd like to invite up Uncle Danny and cousins Harry and Sam to help lift and dress the Torah. Come on up. And also I'd like to invite up cousins Guri and Meyer, as well as Uncle Michael and Aunt Carrie, to open the ark when we do return the Torah to the ark. Michael and Carrie.
They're coming on up. Nope. There we go.
Yes? No? All right. Cool.
You know your spots. Good job. You ready, bud?
Excellent. So, if you are able and choose to rise, we welcome you to do so as the Torah is lifted, dressed, and returned to the ark.
Mm-hmm.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יהללו את שם אדוני כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו, הילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. הללויה, הללויה, כי לקח טוב נתתי להם, תורתי תעזובו. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה, ותומכך מיושר דרכך, דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיך שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש, חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו כקדם.
Thank you to all choreography to get the Torah beautifully respected. We thank you all. We continue our Haftarah, our reading from the prophets. You can follow along again on the link, the instructions on our website if you're following along at home. If you'd like to follow along here in person, the blessings are on page 254 of this book. And what we're reading itself from Isaiah chapter 1 is on page 1590 in the bigger book. We'll be reading in total Isaiah chapter 1, verses 4 through 9. Just as we retell the story beginning the book of Deuteronomy this week, the prophet Isaiah begins his prophecy in our Haftarah as well. So Adam, Aaron, are you coming up? Again, page 254 for the blessings, page 1590 for the verses themselves, Isaiah chapter 1, verses 4 through 9. Microphones.
It's true, that's not on. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar milim tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nbiei ha'emet v'tzedek. Hoi goy choteh am keved avon zehera merim banim mashchitim ozvu et Adonai natsu et kadosh Yisrael nazoru achor al meteku od tosifu sarah korosh locholi v'kolevav davai mikaf regel ve'ad rosh ein boho metzom petza v'chavura umakatiria lo zoru v'lo bashu v'lo rukecha bashamen.
Artzchem shemama, arechem tzfurot, esh admatchem, lenegdechem zarim, ochlim ota, ushmama kemapechat zarim, venotra vatzion, kezuka v'charem, klimuna v'miksha, ke'ir nitzura, Lulei Adonai Tzvaot, Hotir Lanu Sarid, Kimat, Kistom Hayinu, La'amora Daminu, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech Haolam, Tzur Kol Ha'amim, Tzadik B'chol Hadorot, Ha'el HaNe'eman, Ha'omer V'yaseh, Ha'midaber M'kayem, Shekol Devarav and Met Batzedek. Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al HaNevi'im ve'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu L'kedusha u'lemenucha L'chavod u'letifaret. Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim lach M'varchim otach Yitparach Shimcha befi kol chai Talmid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
After Koch. Well done, gentlemen. Why don't you turn your microphones off? You can put your books back underneath. I want you to stand next to each other. You're going to like face the community. Actually, no. Face us. It's our chance to bless you. It's our chance to say nice things about the two of you. Have them here somewhere. There we go. Adam and Aaron, you have been through quite the odyssey to get to this moment. The occasion where you stand before community and God as leaders of our people. You've endured over a year's delay in becoming bar mitzvah. You've learned new Torah portions. You wrote new divrei Torah. You were flexible to the adjustments that were made over the past many months. But truthfully, all of these things helped you get to this moment of standing here. But becoming adults, being leaders in our community, being wise, mature Jewish role models, that's been part of your life for some time now already. As you continue your Jewish journey, hold tightly to your culture, ethics, and values. Embrace the people who support you and care for you. Push yourself to discover new parts of the Jewish world and new parts of yourself. And always seek to help others, care for those in need, protect the vulnerable. Today you embark on the next stage of your Jewish journey, and you may you be blessed with courage, compassion, kindness, and confidence as you adventure forward. And now we have the opportunity to bless you with the oldest blessing in the Jewish tradition, Birkat Kohanim, the priestly benediction. May God bless you and keep you. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's presence be with you all the days of your life and always grant you peace.
Ken Yiratzon.
Ken Yiratzon. Mazal tov to you both. Now we move towards the conclusion of our service. Aleinu L'Shabeach is on the top of page 282. 282 at the top of the page. If you are able to and choose to rise, we welcome you to do so.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, lateit gedula leotzer breshit, shehu notei shamayim veyosed aretz, umoshav yekaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo b'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We take this moment now towards the conclusion of our service for a prayer of memory, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 294. Even in this moment of joy and celebration, Adam and his family are remembering his great-grandparents, Sidney Stutman, Dorothy and Robert Letson, Joyce and Irving Cook, Jean and Franklin Graybill. And Aaron and his family are remembering his grandparents, Steve and Jean Scher, Esther Rosenberg, Edwin Scher, and Frank Weisach, his great-grandparents, Nicholas and Laura Gralensky, great-grandparents, and his great-grandparents, Jim and Rose Stowe, Clyde and Phyllis Haley. And we in our community are remembering these loved ones on this Shabbat. To be laid to rest in future days, my uncle Alan Meyer. We were in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning, for Meyer Rashkoff, husband of Barbara, father of Lori, grandfather of Allison, and brother of Paula. We were remembering the yahrzeit, the anniversary of passing of Joseph Berg, father of Daniel, Arnold Berger, father of Ronnie, grandfather of Daniel and Leah, Julia Blacklow, mother of Richard, Luigi Ciccali, father of Rich, Laura Dawson, mother of Jim, Marshall Joseph Dick, father of Debbie Schuster, grandfather of Jonathan and Mara, Harris Dubrow, husband of Pat, Chris Erickson, father of Batya Shemay, Rosalind Earth, grandmother of Stacy Simons, Ruth Freed, mother of Elaine Steinberg, Nita Greenstein, mother of Alan, Irving Handon, brother of Helen Spiro, Jean LaBeouf, cousin of Alan and Linda, Ida Magnus, grandmother of Yaela Ettlinger, Art McDonald, stepfather of Judy Sean, Florence Newborn, mother of Laura and grandmother of Hallie, Gordon Peterson, father of Bruce, Seymour Rabinovich, husband of Flora, William Rose, father of Elena, Abner Shapiro, father of Nancy, Barry Sarles, husband of Doreen and father of Leah, Jean Scher, mother of Rachel, Joel Shapiro, father of Adam, Lee Silver, mother of Louise Chernin, Phil Stillpass, father of Randy Englert, Bertha Winnett, mother of Rochelle, Faye Zlatarin, grandmother of Davia Lauren. If any names have been forgotten or mispronounced, we invite you to add them to the chat, to speak them out loud in our community at this time. If you're in the first 7 days of mourning, we welcome you to rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're observing a yard site on this Shabbat, you're welcome to rise. If it is your tradition to stand in love and solidarity for all those in our community, we welcome you to do so and join in the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'gala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yithalei, v'yithalal, shemei d'kodesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Val kol Yoshvei Tevel v'imru Amen. Yoshvei Tevel, all who dwell on this earth. Please be seated. It's an honor to welcome up Sarah Jensen, member of our board of directors. Oh, there you are. To offer words of greetings and congratulations.
Okay, Adam and Aaron, on behalf of the board of directors and the whole community of Temple Beth Am, let me offer our Mazel Tov. What a joy to be celebrating together in person today. Welcome forward, everybody. And it's a particular joy to celebrate the day with Adam and Aaron, the day that they become a bar mitzvah. I've known both of you since you were little kids at that preschool right there. And it just means so much to see you today as young adults chanting beautifully and sharing your wisdom with all of us. Adam, I loved your devar about facing your fears. And Aaron, I really liked how you brought in criminal law and being thoughtful about decision making. We all learned a lot. To honor this moment and to help encourage your Jewish ritual life, we are glad to give you a Kiddush cup, which I believe you both have, to celebrate Shabbat, as well as a book of blessings to add deeper meaning to the world around you. Today you are entering into Jewish adulthood, and we proudly welcome you into the leadership of our congregation. We need the gifts and talents that only you can bring. We look forward to joining in your Jewish future, and Temple Beth Am is excited to be part of your journey as you continue to grow and inspire us. So as a community, and those of you watching online, you too, we'd like everyone to, on the count of 3, say Mazel Tov. So 1, 2, 3,
Mazel tov, Simon tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simon tov, Simon tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simon tov, Simon tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simon tov, Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Ulechol Yisrael, Yehei lanu, Ulechol Yisrael.
Oh, I like that. That's great. Before we close, just a few additional things, just a couple quick announcements. We are hiring both in our early childhood, the one that's right over there that they went to. Also in our we're hiring full-time teachers over there. We're hiring part-time, half-time educators in our GON, our school age program. We also have, we're joining in the religious action centers Freedom to Vote campaign, including meetings with our senators, Cantwell and Murray, for the next couple of weeks. Check out our weekly email for more information on that. And if you'd like to order you lulav and etrog for Sukkot, that's right, I said it. Check out our website. We need to place them by the end of this next month in August. So, yeah, lulav and etrog. That's happening. Whew. I want to invite Adam and Aaron to come on forward. You can put all your stuff down. For Kiddush, blessing the sanctity of our Shabbat, the blessings on page 101 and 102. You can take the plastic wrapping off. We're keeping it safe, man.
Amen.
Do you want someone to spit in it? That's how it keeps it safe. Would you like that to happen? We take food distribution. Oh my gosh. Page 301. We bless the sanctity of our Shabbats with Kiddush whenever you're ready. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Take a sip if you would. There we are.
That's quite a sip.
What is indeed. We have flowers as well. You each get to take one home with you, as we're not sharing food just yet in our community. You can show the challahs. Wrapped and ready to go. Woo! Well, we may not be ready to join hands with all each other. If you are comfortable connecting with those around you or reaching out to the challah, we welcome you to do so as we break bread as one community and we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tzei avon. We'll open it up so you can have a bite. Our closing song is Osei Shalom.
Osei Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen, amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel
From wherever you might be joining us, we wish each and one of you a beautiful Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You did it. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Oh my gosh. Ah. You, my friend. friend or a miracle worker. Oh, really? It's okay. No worries. It was great. Oh, yeah. It was great. Thank you so like I said, you're a hero. You followed me into the dark, and I was like, you can keep going with me somehow, guys. Thank you for following me. I know, I was like, should I do it? Because I knew you had the music for us. And then it was perfect. It ended up being, sometimes